This is a presentation of Piaget's theory of cognitive development by Lindsey, Brandt, Madelyn, Hanson, Leah, Belvins, Merideth, and Paul Kruse.
Piaget's theory of cognitive development is designed as a staircase model where each stage is incorporated into the next. No stage is ever skipped, and they follow a particular order. This theory is discontinuous because each stage must be hit before moving on to the next. The 4 stages are sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. The first stage of Piaget's cognitive development theory is sensory motor. Sensory motor includes children ages 0 to 2 years old. At this stage, children begin to imitate others. Also, children's memory begins to improve and they begin to understand object permanence. Object permanence is the idea of out of sight, out of mind. If the child cannot see the object, then they believe it no longer exists or it disappeared. In this stage, children start to be driven by actions that meet goals as their thoughts develop.
Here is an example of the sensory motor concept of object permanence. If someone was to take the toy ball away from the baby would think it's actually disappeared and is no longer in existence. The child would most likely distract himself with another toy. Another common example of object permanence is in the game of peekaboo. When a mother puts her hands over her face, the baby believes the mother actually disappeared because the baby can no longer see the face of her mother.
The second stage of Piaget's theory of cognitive development is pre-operational. The pre-operational stage occurs between the ages of 2 to 7 years old. In this stage, children learn how to speak and eventually construct sentences. Children's symbolic thinking and logical reasoning improves greatly at this time. Throughout this stage, children are very egocentric. An egocentric person is someone who is self-centered and is only concerned about their own feelings.
The third stage of Piaget's theory of cognitive development is concrete operational. Children ages 7 to 11 years old go through this stage. During this stage, children are capable of problem solving. Also, children begin to understand the law of conservation. In addition, children comprehend the idea of reversibility. Here's an example of the law of conservation. Before this stage, children would say that the taller glass holds more water than the short glass, even if they saw that they originally had the same amount of water in the same shaped glass. During this stage, children could now recognize that even though the glasses are shaped differently, they have the same amount of water.
During the concrete operational stage, children are able to recognize reversibility, which is the idea that objects can change their form but still be the same object. In this example, children would know that both the inflated and deflated globes are the same even though they are different shapes.
Piaget's final stage of cognitive development is the formal operational stage. This stage ranges from around 11 years old through adulthood. During this stage, children's scientific reasoning skills develop. Complex thinking and social skills are also developed in this stage.
This is an example of complex thinking that is developed during the formal operational stage. Starting in middle school, children begin taking complex math courses such as algebra and geometry, in which they have to use processes and methods in order to solve complicated problems that they wouldn't have been able to solve in previous stages.
Another example taking place during the formal operational stage of Piaget's theory of cognitive development is scientific reasoning skills. In middle school, a lot of children participate in science fairs that call for critical thinking as well as analysis and experimentation that allow the child to think in scientific ways and put their theories to the test.
While Piaget's theory helps us understand the process of learning, it also has some criticisms. Some criticisms about Piaget's theory happen to be the theory does not take into account that not all children think in the same way, and it is said to have underestimated the abilities of some. Another criticism is that the theory does not take cultural differences in cognitive development into account.
To conclude, Piaget's theory is designed for individuals who are ready to learn and follow through each stage of the theory. Because of the design of the staircase model, which is to ensure individuals are successful.